I'm Dr. Hinson.
I'm Dr. Donnelly.
And we're the Good Doctors of Abbey Research. We are here and back for episode 3 of Netflix's The Crown, entitled Windsor.
And we open in a flashback in 1936, where the day that all of Elizabeth's life went to crap.
All her hopes and dreams went straight down the toilet.
When Edward abdicates. I am not an Edward fan.
Not a big fan of David, the Duke of Windsor.
I mean, like 0% fan.
I don't hate him as much as Dr. Donnelly, but it's close.
So a couple things.
Yeah.
Edward thinks that his only excuse for abdicating is love.
Love is the answer. All you need is love. And a monarchy.
And like, maybe not the narrow okay. I'm going to rant about that in a minute, but let's go through the episode first.
Yeah.
We learned a couple things about Edward's character, like that he and Wallace have really nasty nicknames for their entire family.
Yeah. Their letters back and forth are horrible.
And he just keeps calling his family monsters. And I'm like, you ruined their lives!
Yes.
Like,
you want them to be happy about the fact that you ruined their lives?
Like,
cool.
Elizabeth's mother, the Queen Mother, 100% believes it is the stress that killed her husband.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it probably was.
He was never going to be king. He spent none of his life thinking that. He had a debilitating speech impediment, a high level of social anxiety. All of this was known before his brother was like, no, I'd really like to marry this lady, so peace out, kingdom.
I remember when I first heard about the abdication when I was a child and being told about how romantic it was that Edward would give up his whole kingdom for the woman that he loved. And you know what? 34-year-old Kristen calls absolute bullcrap. It's not romantic.
No,
it's shallow and disgusting.
This is not a Hallmark movie.
No.
This is not the choice that the Hallmark prince makes.
No. No. Especially for such a hateful shrew as Wallace appears to be.
She does not seem like a nice person.
No.
Oh.
He takes no agency in the pain he causes his family at any point in time during this episode.
No.
So we're gonna go through the recap, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about why Edward is such a coward.
Yes. So we open with Elizabeth and Philip there at Clarence House, which is presumably somewhere near Buckingham Palace. A royal house. We don't really know. But that's where they're living and planning to live.
And it's still a royal house because I think it's where Kate got ready the night before their wedding.
Yes,
so like it's still a royal house.
Yeah, it's where Princess Margaret lives. I think eventually, it stays within the family.
London.
It's in London somewhere. We're not sure. The Duke of Windsor, formerly King Edward, comes back for the funeral for his brother.
People are not happy about that.
When he lands, does not mention the new queen in his remarks. So you want to call them monsters, and you're throwing shade from like the dock of your boat. Queen Mary is not happy to see her son at all. Blames him for this. Thinks he's weak. There's a lot of animosity between them. And Philip, we're starting to talk about the coronation and what's going to happen when she's Queen Elizabeth II. Philip wants the kids to keep his last name, which isn't his last name. It was his uncle's last name that was given to him, whatever. Mountbatten. He wants the kids to be called Mountbatten. And wants them to stay living in Clarence House as opposed to moving to Buckingham Palace. Elizabeth meets with Churchill, who promptly tells her, like, lol, no, we can't do any of this. I don't know what you're talking about. The government doesn't seem to have a lot of confidence in her ability to lead.
Which, honestly, at this point, they shouldn't.
Why would they? She's not been prepared for this.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
At all.
Lovely, brilliant, smart woman.
At all. So he says that they want 16 months in between the coronation.
And her investiture.
Yes, which is like the time, I guess, in between.
In which she becomes God's person on earth.
Yes. We start to hear rumors that the prince's uncle, Lord Mountbatten, wants it to be the royal house, Mountbatten.
Oh, he flat out says it at a party, which was dumb.
At dinner, he's like, let's toast to
the royal house!
The royal house Mountbatten. So
we keep things on the down low till they are official, you muppet.
Especially especially when you have guests at your dinner party who happen to be cousins of Queen Mary. So cousin scuttlebutts back to London and says, guess what I found out?
Guess what you have to put a stop to?
Because they're not really big fans of Philip. It was a big kerfuffle to get him.
She fought for him, evidently.
Yes, he comes from a very complicated background. He, in real life and in the show, has a large portion of his family who are Nazis. Mm-hmm. Escaped Greece when his family was being overthrown. It takes the name Mountbatten kind of as like a last-ditch effort to prove that he's some part English.
And he had to renounce Greece, Denmark, and something else to even become... And
the consort.
It's shady. His family's not the best.
So the House of Windsor wasn't delighted with this match to begin with. Never mind the fact that now they want it to be the House of Mountbatten.
They're like, play it, please.
Philip is bored and wants to learn how to fly because he's just such a charmer.
Also, like, he's allowed to be bored, but, like, really? You think the father of the future King of England should...
Yeah.
Like, be on the Spirit of St. Louis? Like, come on, kid, take a back seat.
So we get to see really quickly after the wonderful letter that Queen Mary sent her granddaughter, the first real battle between Elizabeth Windsor and Elizabeth Regina over the name Mountbatten.
Of all the things. Philip, just take a seat.
And Elizabeth realizes that she can't win on this one. She is explained to by Churchill why this will never happen and the royal house name will not change. And so Elizabeth Windsor loses this battle and she finds out the cost of that loss is detrimental to her relationship with her husband. She tries to do a bit of a quid pro quo with Churchill over this. She says, yes, I am queen, but I am also a woman and a wife. So we're getting more insight into her really traditional gender roles and beliefs that being a wife is as important to her as being queen is. And wants to keep the family in Clarence House. It doesn't work. Churchill has David over, Prince David over for dinner, gets him to promise to reinstate David's allowance, because he's like, how am I supposed to live without the money that my brother promised me? You're a winner as well. Also wants Wallis Simpson to be Her Royal Highness. No.
Come
on. This is important.
This is what we're fighting for. The woman I love deserves recognition.
Yeah.
For being the person you're married to and having female reproductive organs, like...
Yes, but it's also the hypocrisy of how women are treated in this time and space as well, which I thought was really interesting, and that, Elizabeth brings up how many divorced men there are in Parliament, and that is not really taken into consideration. Everyone's trying to manipulate the new queen because they see her in a position of weakness. David tells her, we all do foolish things for love, driven by love for the people that we love. So we're going to give Dr. Donnelly a few minutes here at the end to talk about that. But she has this very frank discussion with him where she says, you never apologized. And he said, oh, I did. And she goes, no, you never apologized to me. You don't think I deserve one. All I wanted to be was a wife and mother and an ordinary English country woman. And you took that from me. So we get the first real sense that he maybe starts to understand, hopefully, the impact he had on his family, although probably not, because he's kind of a jerk. She tries to mend this relationship with her Uncle David a bit at the end and does a little bit of politicking over tea, as women do a lot.
And appealing to and flattering his ego, which women do a lot.
And we end the episode with the final decision that the royal name is to stay the House of Windsor, which prompts our Philip to throw a bit of a strop and storm out of the house and say, what kind of marriage is this if I don't get my way? Dr. Donnelly. Thoughts, comments, questions, concerns?
So many.
I know.
But my main one is this this absolute malarkey that the kind of love that Edward has for Wallis is the most important kind of love. Now, love is the greatest thing. Mm-hmm. Love always wins. It is always important. I would like to remind you what love is. It is patient. It is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It does not put self before others.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner.
What you have for Wallis may be love, 100%. But unfortunately for you, your DNA says you have greater responsibility, and I'm sorry that that's shitty, but, like, get over yourself? Like,
you knew this from day one. You were the firstborn son. This is not news.
And also, it's not just that Wallace was divorced. I mean, there's lots of reasons why they didn't like her. She liked Nazis. She was pretty okay with Hitler. They kind of weren't.
They went and visited Hitler.
The King of England cannot be married to a friend of Adolf Hitler.
Sorry.
Come on now.
Sorry to burst that bubble.
So I have about negative 6% time for this waste of space.
Yeah.
Who thought that his personal proclivities was more important than his entire family.
Yeah.
And the entire Commonwealth of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Like,
yeah. To which he was pledged from birth to serve above all else.
Like, leadership sucks sometimes. I get
man.
it. We lose sleep, we lose agency, we lose all these kind of things. But you know what? You do it. You do it. So be king for like 15 years and then abdicate later. What is your drama? Zero time for this. I also don't love how how much he throws around love. As everybody should automatically forgive him because he was in love. Are you a 14-year-old who doesn't have the ability to actually cognitively understand abstract thought or consequences to actions? I don't think so. You're a grown-ass man.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So.
It's a television show, very clearly, that we find upsetting.
I just... He makes me make Miss Piggy noises. Like,
I heard them. I hope the microphone catches them, but I heard them.
Like, I'm part of a family business, as we have said many times, that is smaller than the British Empire. No less important. And we do all sorts of things as a family that are the best for our employees rather than necessarily our stress levels or physical health.
Yeah.
Because that's the call. That's the call.
Nope. Not for our wee
David Windsor.
Not for David, the Duke of Windsor.
And he just whines the whole episode, and I have such limited patience for whining. The actor is doing an incredible job. And may we also just right now say that Claire Foy
is queen. She is actual queen of acting.
Unbelievable work she is doing.
I think she won an Emmy.
She did.
I think she did. I'd give her more Emmys.
I'll retroactively give her more.
Can I give her? I don't know who won them when she didn't. One year it was Elizabeth Moss, I think. Which, in fairness, The Handmaid's Tale season 1 probably deserved it. But yeah, she's something else. She is a force. She in a show that is supposed to be about her, but not really for the first couple of episodes. She is what's holding it together.
Completely together. And to a very real extent, she's why I think so many people watch.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I don't think many of us actually care about the Tory party politics that is going to take up the entirety of the next episode, by the way.
1950s England. Snooze alert.
I'm a hard pass. Yeah. So, she's incredible.
Yeah.
So anyway, moral of the story. In summation, love isn't about you all the time. It always wins because it is self-sacrificingly powerful. It always wins because it puts others before self. And it always wins because it's the ultimate force of good. Whatever your one David feels for Wallace, I'm sure is a shallow version of love. But his lack of love for his family and his country is really shocking.
And his service, which is what he was called to do.
Really, really shocking.
And Dr. Donnelly believes very strongly in the philosophy of servant leadership, which is not at all reflected in the Duke of Windsor.
Nope.
One iota.
So I just growl a lot at the television when he's on it.
Maybe he won't be in later episodes as much. Hopefully he goes back to France and we don't have to hear from him.
That would be very nice. But I do hope that he is helpful to her. At the end, I was like, okay, girl,
I think he can be.
If you can get use out of him, go for it. But honestly, they better not bring Wallace Simpson back on my television.
Girl, I do not want to hear from her.
0% ever again do I want to hear from Wallace Simpson. 0%.
And on that note, that's what we have for episode 3.
3. So, as always, I'm Dr. Donnelly.
And I'm Dr. Hinson.
We're the good doctors of Abbey Research, wishing you a Wallace Simpson free week.
Take care, everybody. Bye.